Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. 2020 was a year of streaks for Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons started 0-2, won 4 straight games, including an upset win over Virginia Tech, but ended the year with 3 straight losses, including a bowl loss to Wisconsin to finish the year at 4-5. Dave Clawson now enters year 8, but continues to do remarkable things with this program as he just led the Demon Deacons to their 5th straight bowl game and definitely has the team to get them to their 6th straight in 2021. So again, guys, welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our prediction videos coming your way from now until the beginning of the college football season. So you do not want to miss out on any of these, and you do not want to miss out on the exclusive offers we have down in our description below, including our brand new expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Not only are we still sharing our expert picks for college football for just $30 for an entire year, but we are now including NFL expert picks kind of as a bonus for our 5-year anniversary here at the channel. So you're going to get some elite spread picks, some elite expert picks from us here at the Gridiron Expert over on our website, thegridironexpert.com, for one of the lowest prices in the entire country. So do not miss out on that. Go check it out over on our website. Again, down in the description below. So let's take a look at Wake Forest, guys. We just mentioned that Dave Clawson continues to do an unreal job with this program. We just mentioned that he has the team to get to their 6th straight bowl game, maybe even better than that, maybe even win 7, 8, 9 games. Let's see what they have to work with. Offensively, they have everybody and everything to work with. Last year, Wake Forest set a school record, averaging 36 points per game. They could be even better than that now, with a full season ahead of them, not just 9 games, but a full 12-game schedule, and the fact that everybody is back on offense. That includes their quarterback, Sam Hartman, threw for over 2,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions. Their running back, Christian Beal-Smith, had 732 yards on the year. And their top wide receiver, not just on the team, not just in the ACC, but maybe one of the top wide receivers in the entire country, in Jaquarii Roberson, who had 926 yards and 8 touchdowns on the year. Pair him up with Donovan Green, who had 582 yards and 2 touchdowns. Wake Forest wide receiver core will be one of the best in the conference, and this passing attack has the potential to be one of the best in the country, as they averaged 281.4 passing yards in 2020. When you look at the defense, 8 starters are back on that side of the ball, yet they still need a little work. They allowed 32.8 points per game, 435.7 total yards per game. But the one thing the Demon Deacons did very well was force turnovers. They forced 17 in 2020. And the secondary is going to be a major strength for this team, with Nick Anderson returning, had 4 interceptions last year, and Jasir Taylor. The biggest key for Wake Forest more than anything, though, is just being healthy. That's the key for everybody. But over the last few years, a couple crucial injuries here and there have derailed Wake Forest's season, whether it was early in the year or later on in the year when it looked like they could start doing something special. If this team stays healthy, they have the potential to do something special. And the reason we say that is because we look at their schedule, and it's very favorable, at least in the first half. At least for the first, maybe even 2 quarters, two-thirds, guys. This looks very, very solid for Wake Forest. So let's go ahead and start predicting here. We're going to go ahead and give them a 2-0 start. Don't really have to touch much on Old Dominion or Norfolk State. We believe Wake Forest takes easy care of both of those programs, and they kick off the year at 2-0. They then jump into ACC play at home against Florida State, and getting the Seminoles at home is huge. I would not want to travel to Tallahassee this year. One of the major reasons is because we're expecting sold-out crowds. Everybody's going to be so excited to start packing those stadiums again. These stadiums are going to be so electric, whether their team's elite, whether they're abysmal. Just the fact to be back in a college football setting is going to be so huge, and home field advantage might play a bigger role than we've ever seen. So they get the Seminoles at home, guys, a team they beat at home just 2 years ago. And while we do think Florida State's offense should improve, 9 starters are back on that side of the ball, finally have some clarity at quarterback, whether it's Jordan Travis or Mackenzie Milton, both very capable, the Seminoles' defense is their downfall. 5 starters are back, but they allowed 257.1 passing yards per game last year. I wholeheartedly believe Wake Forest offense has what it takes to exploit the Seminoles defense in this game, especially in Winston-Salem. They will defeat Florida State, and they move to 3-0. They then travel to take on Virginia, a Friday night matchup, a Virginia team who they beat 40-23 last year. And again, COVID is so hard. When you look at these teams, how they're going to bounce back from COVID, it's so difficult to really figure out, so difficult to predict. Virginia was a solid team last year, just wildly inconsistent. Are they going to be able to improve in 2021? Now look at the Cavaliers this year. 14 starters are back, including their quarterback in Brennan Armstrong, who, when he was healthy, was a very solid QB. And I really believe their secondary will be a lot better than it was last year after having the worst passing defense in the ACC. And so again, you might say if they had the worst passing defense in the ACC, do we really think they can beat Wake Forest? I do. I believe with the game being at home for the Cavaliers, with a full offseason to prepare, with enough talent coming back defensively, Bronco Mendenhall able to build up that secondary that had lost a lot already in 2020, I believe they're going to have what it takes to beat Wake Forest at home. The Demon Deacons will be handled their first loss by Virginia. They then take on Louisville right after that. We're going to go ahead and mark that down as a quick win. And I know many will say, how can it be a quick win if Wake Forest lost to Louisville by 24 last year? The Demon Deacons got upset by a bad Louisville team, 45-21 in last year's season finale. But let's keep in mind, that was Wake Forest's first game in nearly a month because they had to take a month off due to COVID. So you factor in all of that, the long break that they had, the amount of turnovers they had in that game. It wasn't in the cards for Wake Forest to win that game against a Louisville team that ultimately only won 4 games. While I do believe the Cardinals improved this year, they still need more consistency on offense. That's the major storyline for Louisville this year. The defense is there. But when I look at this game, it's at home. Wake Forest ready to redeem themselves after a loss. They are absolutely the better team over Louisville, better offense. Right now, I dare say they have a better defense. They have home field advantage. Chalk it up as a win for Dave Clawson and the Demon Deacons. And you can do the exact same for the road game against Syracuse. This is a Syracuse team that I think it's a battle between them and Duke for the title of the worst team in the ACC in 2021. And while this game is at the Carrier Dome, Wake Forest defeated the Orange by 24 points last year, 38-14. And they absolutely can win by that margin again if the defensive line can break through that Syracuse offensive line that for the last 2 years has been one of the worst in the entire country. Syracuse has 19 returning starters coming back, just like Wake Forest does. But there's a difference. It comes down to coaching, and it comes down to what type of talent is in that 19 starters. Wake Forest has the talent edge. The only thing they don't have in this game is home field advantage, and they'll be able to handle that just fine. A win against Syracuse going into their bye week. So if you've done the math correctly, guys, we look at this. Wake Forest is 5-1 going into their bye week. They're 5-1. They should be a top 25 team when they get their bye week and they go into this road game at Army. And I love it, guys. I love it when military academies, Army, Navy, Air Force, when they play Power 5 opponents. And I love it even more when those military academies host the Power 5 opponents. Not very often you see that. And so while this game is not nearly as big as Oklahoma coming to Army was, like it was supposed to happen last year, it's still a big deal for the Black Knights to host a solid Power 5 team, one that, again, could be a top 25 team. The thing with Army is we know they're no slouch. And look at the numbers. Wake Forest, first off, let's just say this. Wake Forest allowed 183.3 rushing yards per game in 2021. That's one of those bad defensive numbers there that needs drastic improvement in 2021, up in this season. 183.3 rushing yards per game. Army averaged 273 rushing yards per game. Now, granted, we know they're going to do that. Army, Navy, Air Force, they run that dangerous triple option. It's so difficult to stop. You know what they're going to run at you, and yet the opposing defenses somehow can't stop it. So Wake Forest rushing defense was a little suspect, not too great. Army's rushing offense was one of the best in the country. Army's defense, though, was also one of the best in the country. Actually, it was the best. They had the number 1 defense, allowing just 275.3 total yards per game and just 160.8 passing yards per game. The Black Knights returned 8 starters on defense. And say what you want. The Army strength of schedule wasn't that great, that the numbers are skewed because they played teams that were similar to them in style. They played teams that weren't that great. I don't buy any of that. Army proved multiple times they could contend with some of the best of the best. Only lost by 14 to Cincinnati. Only lost by, I believe, a field goal to West Virginia in the Liberty Bowl. Army can win this game, and I believe Army will win this game at Michie Stadium. The Black Knights get a huge win over a top 25 team. Wake Forest gets their second loss despite coming off a week of rest. They then return home to take on Duke. Chalk that up as a quick win as well. You don't have to talk much on the Blue Devils. Only 10 starters are back. They went 2-9 last year. They committed 39 turnovers in 11 games in 2020. There's so much uncertainty for David Cutcliffe and the Blue Devils. They're not going to have what it takes to come on the road and take down the Demon Deacons. So they get a win, and like that, Wake Forest is bowl eligible. And that's huge. That's huge. So they will be going to their 6th straight bowl game. And sitting at 6-2, they probably are still a top 25 team. They have a chance to make something very special of this season. The problem is, look at their final 4 games. 3 of the final 4 are on the road. 2 of them are against the top 2 teams in the conference in North Carolina and Clemson. The final 4 games are so difficult and so unfavorable for the Demon Deacons that they need to do everything they can in the first 8 games of the year to make sure they clinch bowl eligibility, maybe even more than that, to salvage their year. Because I'm going to say right now, they lose to North Carolina. Even though they only lost to the Tar Heels by 6 last year, 59-53, this is a different UNC team. Sam Howell is back at quarterback, one of the best in the country. This defense for North Carolina has so much depth and will be so much better than what we saw in some outings like the Wake Forest game, the Virginia game, and the Texas A&M game in the Orange Bowl. They'll be much better than that. In the offense, many people have questions for the Tar Heels. They will have figured out any questions and problems they have by November 6th, by the beginning of the final month of the year, a month where North Carolina will find themselves in the ACC title hunt and maybe even the playoff hunt as well. So Wake Forest drops this game on the road. They then come back home to take on NC State. They only lost to the Wolfpack by 3 last year, 45-42. And these 2 teams to me are very similar across the board. Style-wise, talent-wise, they just look so similar. And I look at the numbers, guys. 17 back for NC State, 8 on offense, 9 on defense. And I look at the front 7 for the Wolfpack and how dominant that could be. How dominant their front 7 can be in this game. I also look at Devin Leary and how well that he played in 2020 before he went down with that broken leg. Many say this is Dave Doeren's best and deepest team that he's ever had in his 9-year career with the Wolfpack. I'm not sure if the record is going to show that, but the effort week in and week out certainly will show that. And even though the game is at home for the Demon Deacons, I think they fall to the Wolfpack, who right now I believe own that slight defensive edge. Maybe not offensive edge, but they own the defensive edge, and ultimately that's going to be enough to come on the road and get a crucial win for them. I believe Wake Forest then falls on the road to Clemson. We don't have to talk much on that. Everybody in the ACC probably will. They fell to the Tigers 37-13 in last year's season opener in Death Valley near the end of the year. Not expecting much there. And then on the road at Boston College. They did not play the Eagles last year, but very similar to NC State, I see Boston College being very similar to Wake Forest. In terms of style, in terms of returning talent. 18 starters back for Jeff Hafley's Eagles. They have one of the better passing duos in the country, one of the better passing duos in the conference at least, and Phil Jurkovec and Zay Flowers, who will be up there as one of the better wide receivers in the country. Wake Forest needs to find a way to shut that down because Boston College is so one-dimensional offensively. The Eagles don't really have much of a rushing game, it's just solely a passing game. But on the road in Chestnut Hill in the season finale, Boston College may be on the cusp of history themselves in this game. I just don't see Wake Forest going on the road and pulling that one off. Again, after what could be a brutal beatdown against Clemson. We always talk about that Clemson hangover. It's a real thing. We've seen it year in and year out, not just for the Demon Deacons, but for teams across the country, teams across the conference. It's going to be no different this year. On the road at BC, I like Jeff Hafley and the Eagles to get the job done. And so while, yes, Wake Forest does start 5-1 and then finishes 1-5, they will still get to their 6th straight bowl game. Now, I know Demon Deacons fans will not be a fan of that. Maybe you say we won't lose to Army. Maybe you say we won't lose to NC State. Maybe you say we won't lose to Virginia. So maybe you think you can get a 9-win season, anywhere between a 6 to 9-win season. Very possible. I just don't see it happening. But I do see another bowl game happening. And right now, that's consistent. That's what Dave Clawson came here to do. He is doing that. He's holding up his end of the bargain. While 6-6 might be disappointing with all the returning talent that you have, when you look at the final 4 games of the year, you got to be grateful with that. Got to be grateful for that. 6-6, a chance at another possible winning season if they win their bowl game. Wake Forest usually plays well in their bowl games. They're going to have a chance to send out these seniors on a very big high note. And Wake Forest, we do believe, will finish 6-6. Again, 6 straight bowl game for Dave Clawson and his squad. So, guys, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos going forward. Make sure to check out everything down in the description below. Go sign up for those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Again, some of the best picks and analysis in the country, tons of very satisfied customers, and one of the lowest prices in the entire country as well. So I promise you will not regret that. Go give it a look. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.